Good afternoon and welcome. I want to start by sharing with y'all my journey, the obstacles that I had to go through to get to me starting my own business. I have worked various jobs. I'm talking the pizza places, restaurants, pizza places. I worked at Hardee's for a little bit. I did security. I was a security guard, flashlight cop. Yeah. Then I got in. I did work for some temp companies as well. Doing like assignment jobs, a week assignments, couple of days assignments to a month or a few months assignments. I did that as well. And then I got into the manufacturing business, which my last manufacturing business was I was there for 15 years. That was my last, which I left there 2 years ago in 2023. But yeah, I had to definitely go through some changes. I didn't like a lot of them jobs, to be honest with you, except for the security and the pizza places. They was cool. I liked them. And a few manufacturing jobs, it was all right. The last one, like I said, the one I was on 15 years was the best. I love that job. I love that company. But yeah, I definitely been around in the job field. I put in my dues on that. Definitely did. I always knew that I wanted to be my own boss. I wanted to have my own freedom for years, even when I first got out of high school. But the only thing I was stuck in was I didn't know what I wanted to do for a long time. I didn't know which niche I wanted to get in. So it took me, to really learn myself. I had to work on myself personally, what I really wanted, what was my passion. Because I had passions for different things. Different things. And I was calling myself trying to be in the music business one time. That was what I was working towards. I was trying to rap. I started out as a drummer, which I'm still a drummer. I play for churches. But yeah, I crossed over at one point in time in my life trying to rap and do that. It was cool. I enjoyed rapping. I really got into writing my own songs and stuff. So I used to didn't like writing like all that good like that. I wasn't bad at writing, but it was never my thing. But like they say, when you find what you love to do, you'll be amazed at what you'll get into to get there. So when I started really writing and doing, and I'm like, no, I didn't even do this much in school. That was definitely the truth. What you're passionate about, you'll be doing some things that you would never thought that you'll be doing sometimes. But I got into the whole writing thing. That's how I like writing and doing. And the whole rap thing didn't work out. I had to think on reality. I had to really touch within myself. I had to really find myself, what I'm saying. And it wasn't easy. Trust me. I got tested a lot, especially on jobs. I got tested a lot, but God brought me through. You know, my faith is more stronger now than it was back then. But it took me to go through some things to really see God is real and he really for us. If we let him work in our faith, if we let him work within us, that means we put our faith in him and our trust in him. So, and I ain't trying to, you know, get too religious up here. You know, I ain't trying to do all that. But that's what made me do some changes. So I had to, when I seen like, and hearing things about the music industry and how wicked it is, I said, no, time to make some other changes, because I got other talents and gifts. I just haven't tapped into it yet. So I said, no, if I could come up with this, I know I could do something else. But as time passed, you know, over the years, then I came across a lady, Miss Yvonne. She's a great woman. And plus she was, because I became a first-time home buyer around the pandemic. And Miss Yvonne, she introduced me to this product. She introduced me to this. It was oxygen at the time. It's Epic. It's called Epic now. She introduced me to this product, and at the time I looked at it and then I did my due diligence on it, read up on it. And excuse me if it sounds like I'm just rambling on, but you know, just bear with me. But I went through a time of when I got with my primary doctor, and I went and did my first blood work. And she told me, well, she did never tell me that I had to do it on the empty stomach. So I had ate that day or whatnot when I ended up taking my first blood work. Then she told me she had diagnosed me as being about a diabetic. So I said, nah. It was shocking to me. So I'm like, you for real? And she was like, yeah. She was already ready to put me on medication and everything. I said, nah. I said, nah, I'm gonna have to get me a second opinion on that. You know, I won't just, cause I felt good. I felt fine. You know, I knew I was obese a little bit. I knew I was obese. You know, I won't like big, but you know, I knew I was obese for my height. And so I had a talk with my moms and my aunt. And my aunt had asked me, did I eat anything that day when I went and did it? And I told her, no. I told her, yeah. I said, yeah, I did. She said, no, you were supposed to do that on the empty stomach. So when she told me that, I said, what? She said, yeah. She said, you need to go and retake that again. This time, do it on the empty stomach. So I told her, I said, well, thanks. I said, thanks, Auntie, for letting me know that. So I went and rescheduled another blood work. And this time I went and did it on the empty stomach. And when I took that one, that's when the results came back later. When I ended up getting my results, it told me I was on the borderline of being a diabetic. And I was, whew, you know, because I love to eat. I love my sweets and stuff, you know. But I had to make a few changes. But before, let me take you back though. Let me take you back a little bit. I'm kind of speeding it up a little too fast. before I had did my second blood work, Miss Yvonne, the product that she had introduced me to, she was selling it. And it was called Captivita. So my doctor had already told me the things that I needed to change when she first tried to diagnose me as being a diabetic, that I had to make some changes on my eating habit and doing more exercises. But see, I was already exercising, but I wasn't being consistent with it. And I wasn't eating as clean as I should have been. So I knew, I said, okay, I'm going to make, so I thought about what she had told me that. So I said, okay, I'm going to make them changes. I'm going to go ahead and do that ASAP. So I got my first Captivita product through Miss Yvonne. And I started taking that, but as I'm taking it, I changed up my eating habits. So I started eating more cleaner. Started eating more salads with the grilled chicken and, baked fish. I cut out the fried foods and I toned down my sugar, my sugary stuff, I started drinking more water. Still love my sodas every now and then, but I had to tone it down. And then I looked up on YouTube and I found Dr. Berg. Shout out to Dr. Berg too as well. And he brought me to the whole keto diet and about the meals. Instead of eating 3 meals, try to narrow it down to 2 or 1 meal a day. So as I'm listening to him, he was saying that just keep your insulin, your insulin intake low. Never let it get high. And by doing so, just lowering your carbs to no carbs. So I can eat some carbs, but make sure I'm keeping it low, not eating too much of it. So I said, what I'm going to do, just ease off of carbs for a while. So I did that by eating a lot of salads and I just made sure whatever I ate, it was baked, broiled, or grilled. And I love my chicken and fish. That just hands down. I love eating sardines and stuff like that. So I just made sure I just kept it with vegetables. And then I got back into eating my fruits. I was eating fruits like every blue moon. I wasn't eating it as often as I should have been. But now I do. And by me making them changes, just them small changes right there, that's what got me on the borderline. Instead of being a full diabetic, I was on the borderline of being a diabetic. That's how I made that change. And that's when I really started supporting the Captivita product. And that's not the only product. Because with the Captivita product, there's a whole lot of other products that helps with arthritis. We even got stuff for pets. I even got stuff for pets. And this with the whole health and wellness, And it just brought me to my attention of, okay, I can really do something with this. So I just started writing down, I started documenting my testimony of how I ended up on the borderline as a diabetic and how I got off the borderline as a diabetic. And when I did my due diligence on Captivita and all the other products, I said, okay, I had to, because my products I use my own products. So I was using the pain creams and stuff because I had knee surgery too as well. I had knee surgery on my right knee. I had tore my ACL and my meniscus and the outside cartilage to my right knee. And the pain cream really, as I had got healed up from that, I still have different aches and pains here and there, especially when the weather gets bad and stuff. It really, when it start raining and stuff like that, it really is, and then when it get cold during the wintertime. So I started using my pain creams, and when I seen how well it did for me, I said, okay, now all I need to do is help somebody else that's going through the same stuff that I'm going through, that I already went through, but I'm still dealing with a little bit of stuff. But as far as like me getting off of being a diabetic, and that's the main number one right now. That's the main number one I heard people really talk about the most these days right now. Diabetes. Because we love to eat. We love our desserts, and you want to be able to eat how you want to eat. But it's all about how you do it. We're supposed to do it in moderation. A lot of stuff I could say in my past, I really was overdoing a lot of things. And on that note, I had to change that. I'm still young. I'm 44 years old, but I'm still young, And I had to get a grasp. I had to grasp that quick before it got worse. So I made sure I got a handle on it quick, as soon as possible. And that's when I tapped into my man Aston CEO on YouTube. Shout out to Aston. He really helped me to start my first ebook. And he was saying that you could tell your testimony of what you've been through to help somebody else that's going through the same thing that you already done dealt with. So that's when I wrote my first ebook. And it's called Captivita. You Can Manage Diabetes Naturally. A Guide with Captivita. On Amazon platform. Go check it out. Go check it out. Go to the description. Go to the description page on my YouTube and check it out. And if this testimony, my story, helps anybody, and this is how I got into my own business with the Captivita products through the Epic company, which is my CBD products, all natural products. This is how I got into my own business. And this is what helped me to go ahead and leave my 9-to-5 too, for 15 years that I was on. So if any one of y'all out there that wants to make a change in your life, you like my story, you want to learn more about what I got going on, feel free to comment and hit the like button. Y'all take care.